This episode is going to be much different than any other episode. I'm going to speak directly from the heart and from the soul, zero script, very minimal editing, and it's just speaking on something that I strongly believe is wrong. I do not think this new Apple Vision Pro 3, whatever they call it, is the right thing. I don't like how I'm seeing all over the web, everywhere you see, everyone's talking about this Apple Vision thing, Mabobber. I think it's a really cool concept. Don't get me wrong. I think it's transformative in terms of where we're going to, in terms of a civilization and what we can do with AI, electronics, and all that kind of stuff. But just because I think it's cool doesn't mean I think people should be buying this. I don't think people should be consuming any of this. I don't think it should be a tool that should be accessible to humans. This is something that rips us apart from who we truly are on a deep level. And we are meant to be in nature. We are meant to experience nature, express in nature, be one with nature. And this completely rips that away. We're meant to be in communities, and we're meant to look at people, talk to people, be with the human civilization, learn from each other, and heal as a collective community. And this rips that away. It baffles me every time I see videos now about showing the features of it, and every time I see it, it just more and more reasons come up on why we should not be using it. And one of the biggest reasons is mental health. I think we're in a pandemic right now of mental health. We have been for the last 10 years, and it continues to increase and increase by the year. It just gets worse and worse. And we can pinpoint so many different reasons why. Social media is a massive cause of it. It is insane the amount of people that are taking their own freaking lives because of social media. Of course, there's a lack of education in the school system. There's a lack of education in the government. There's so many things that we can talk about, but that's not about this video. This video is about the Apple Pro thingy. We should not be putting that on our heads. It is completely isolating us from what's around us. We're now putting these goggles on our head, and now we can see multiple screens. So again, we're keeping the mind so busy and so active. We're putting a TV there, and you have your social media there, and you have your menu there, and you have everywhere you walk, you're seeing all these different screens. Like, what is that going to do to the brain? What are we training our subconscious mind with? It's just more and more entertainment, more and more media, more and more low frequency energies that goes into our subconscious mind and programs us to then believe that that is the truth. And it is so far from the truth, because everything is inward. If you want to feel better or be happier, you have to look inward. You have to close your eyes to understand what's going on inside of you, to then open your eyes, to then look at nature, look what's unfolding on earth in the good realm of things, like what is beautiful, what is around us. Humans are beautiful, to interact with humans. Now, picture this. You live in a world where you go on the bus or you're walking down the street and half of the people are wearing these goggles, communicating with this person, texting this person, seeing all these different things in however they display their goggles. How do you connect with anybody, right? Like, how are you able to connect with anybody? I know this is farther in the future. I know we're not there yet, but I still think people need to be speaking about this to raise awareness on what can happen. And yes, AI is coming. And yes, AI is the future. But it's not that it is the future, it's part of the future. So I don't like seeing and reading AI is the future, and we're telling ourselves that. No. AI is part of the future. We can't get rid of it. We can't control that. It is here, and it's going to be here, and it's going to stay here, and it's going to continue to evolve. But we can't make it the future. We can allow it to be part of the future. We can incorporate, we can learn with it, we can grow with it, because I don't believe in canceling everything and being closed-minded and not accepting anything and anything. But I think it's also important to have the awareness aspect to understand what are the good and what are the bad, because everything has a yin and yang. Everything has the universal law of polarity, right? Like there's a positive and negative to it. And these goggles, there's more negative than positive in my opinion. I'm not going to judge anybody who has them, But I think it's important that we raise the awareness to understand what are the consequences of these goggles. And to me, it's another step to deepening the mental health crisis. It's another step that is going to seclude us from others. And I continue to study and understand and read books about loneliness and how, again, we're in a loneliness pandemic. This is another tool that is going to strip us even deeper of feeling lonely. So, if we're dealing with mental health or depression, if we're dealing with loneliness, if we're dealing with sadness, if we're dealing with a lack of purpose, a lack of reason to being alive, a lack of, just drive or motivation, this is a tool that is going to continue to make you feel those ways, because the answers are not out there. The answers are not in this goggle. The answers are not there. The answers are inside. And this is another tool to add to the materialistic aspect of our lives, another tool to make it cool and innovative and different, because it is cool, it is innovative. But just because it's cool and innovative doesn't mean you have to buy it. Doesn't mean you have to consume it. You can be like, oh, that's a cool idea, and then go on with your life and live your life just because some of your favorite creators are using it, or some of your, I don't know how to say it, your Hollywood friends, not friends, but like influencers, I guess you say. I don't even know how to say it because I don't follow these things. But I'm just saying, if you're seeing that on the magazines, and you're seeing the media, and you're seeing the news, and you're seeing it in commercials, doesn't mean you have to get it, like, at all. Like, you can totally just say no and focus on you. And that's the point of this video. Like, I know I'm just shooting from the hip, and I'm just talking from the heart, and I'm just sharing how I feel. And it's not scripted, and it may not be organized properly. But I can't stress it enough how important this is to look inward and to ask yourself, does this bring me any value? Like, we have our phones already. That's already a massive change from it was 10, 20 years ago. 20, 30 years ago, there's no computers, right? So we have our computers, we have our phones. We're able to access everything that's on these goggles. But these goggles are now creating a wall between other people. So it's now canceling those people. And now it baffles me. And I can't believe I almost forgot. Have you ever heard of EMFs, electric magnetic field? If this is your first time, I highly recommend you dig deeper into it. I'm just going to bring it up real quick, just so you have an awareness piece, a seed that you can water and you can grow and you can learn more about. EMFs are electromagnetic fields that we don't see and we're not able to smell, but they're in the air. And our brains have brain waves and they connect with each other. So the closer it brings it to us, the more reactive it is, and the more it affects our brain. And our circadian rhythm, which is our internal body clock, which releases serotonin and melatonin, it's shown that if the phone is too close, or if you have AirPods, it has an effect on the circadian rhythm, which then has an effect on your serotonin and melatonin levels. There's also other studies that show other things. But again, I'll put the podcast in the show notes. You can look at this podcast from Darian Oline. Really, really good podcast. But now, that's the things about AirPods. So if you do wear AirPods, just, again, do a little bit more research. Make sure that it aligns with you or it doesn't align with you. If it aligns with you, then drop the AirPods, get the wired. If, you don't agree with it or it doesn't make any sense or you don't believe it, then keep doing what you're doing. That's you. No problem. No judgment. But again, EMFs. For this Air glasses thing, the Air Pro, what is it called? Goggle Pro? Whatever. The goggles, the Air Pro stuff, that is going to release so much EMFs because that's going to connect to the 5G. You're going to have all these different things you'll be able to do on it. Okay, what's the danger and what's the damage is it doing on our long-term brain health? If it affects the brain, it affects everything. Is it going to create dementia? What is it going to do? There's not enough studies, and we're not going to know for hundreds of years. Maybe that's pushing it, maybe not 100 years, but we're not going to know for at least 100 years because if it's a long-term, because EMS, like I said, we don't smell it, we don't taste it, we don't see it. So because of that, that is long-term. We can't completely do tests on that, but we'll be able to do tests on the people who've worn it for 10 years and what's going to happen. Like, do you want to be part of those tests? Do you want to be a number where, X, Y, Z? I don't know. It doesn't align with me. It doesn't make sense to me. I know I've been going on rants about this, but again, it's because I care and because I love, and I just love humanity, and I just want humans to do what aligns with them, to do what makes them happy, but they have the proper information. And I'm not saying I am giving you that proper information. I'm just saying do the research. This is just an awareness tool where you have ideas where it's like, oh, I'll look deeper into that. Oh, I'll see if that works. Like, do this for you, okay? But you're just adding another tool, another barrier to being happy. We're already dealing with social media pandemic. We're already dealing with a thing that we need to limit. Like, we're trying to limit our screen time. So shouldn't we not add another screen to that, limiting the screen time? And then another thing is, what about the eyesight? Like, there's no studies out yet. Obviously, we haven't been able to test this on eyesight. But that doesn't align with it. It doesn't make any sense. Like, think about it. You throw these goggles on and whatever, you're there for 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. If you're watching a full movie on there, that's 2 hours. That's so close to the eyeballs. Like, that's like right here. So if it's that close to the eyes, the danger that has on the eyes, like, we're not programmed, we're not built to have so much light and so much different colors so close to our eyes. Like, that is going to really affect the eyes. And if it affects the eyes, then it would affect the brain, and it would just affect your inward, which will then affect your outward. It doesn't sound like there's any holistic approach to this. Like, it doesn't sound like there's pros to this. Like, and I'm curious, like, let me know in the comments on what you think are some pros, because I would love to just understand it more. I don't want to be biased. I don't want to be stubborn or ego or closed-minded around this topic. I really want to be open about it and really have a discussion on the pros and the cons. And right now, when I look at everything and everything I've studied around mental health and happiness and purpose and all of that, and I look at my core values and my morals, this doesn't hit any of my values, any of my, like, again, that's me and that's my perception, the way I'm living life, but it doesn't hit any of those. So I'm just very curious to understand what are the pros about it. Like, what else do we need? Like, we have what we need in front of us. Like, I'm all for growing with new things and evolving with new things. I'm all for that. But there's just some things that I don't believe there's a purpose. I don't believe this could evolve humanity. I don't believe that can bring us to the next level. I don't believe this can cure cancer. I don't believe this can help disease. I don't believe this can cure mental health, right? Like, the really core problems of Earth, which is like sustainability, better agriculture system, better food system, mental health, the animal well-beings. Like, if I look at all the core things on Earth, this does not bring any value to any of those. So for that reason, I'm not able to align with it. So anyways, I know I just wanted to rant there for 10 plus minutes, but I'm very passionate about this, and I just care about humanity. I care about humans. I deeply do. Because it's very easy for me not to consume this. Like, I'm not going to consume it. I'm not worried about me at all. Zero. But what I'm worried about is humans that are going through life and that see these commercials and see these things and feel the need to want this new thing because everybody else has it. The FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. I'm just worried for humans to have that feeling. I used to have that feeling 5+ years ago, and I healed that, thankfully. But I just hope that this video, even if it gets 5 views and 5 people see it, I will be so happy, because maybe those 5 people it'll hit something in a nerve, or it'll hit something in their mind, and be like, oh yeah, maybe I'm not gonna get this, and it'll make them feel better, and it'll make them feel like, okay, I don't need to get this. And that's the point, is just to create peace and stillness and not have to worry about getting the new gadget, the new thing, just because it's an Apple product. I think Apple is very innovative and it's great, but again, on the basis of what? Who is suffering in the long run? Great, corporates are making money, but who's suffering? And unfortunately, it's the middle class. It's the people that are suffering, and that's what bothers me. And one of the biggest things that I've learned, again, this is my perception, is you have to follow the money trail, right? Everyone's is so concerned about voting and voting on paper for this politician, this president, this prime minister, but who are you really voting for, right? Unfortunately, they don't actually make the full decisions. If you follow the money trail, it's bigger corporations that make the decisions. These bigger corporations have their hands in everything because they have the money. They're the ones who fund politics. They're the one who funds the government. Like these big corporations like BlackRock and Vanguard and Apple, they are really the ones who are controlling the world. And I don't want to get deep in a rabbit hole. That's not what this video is about. And I don't want to get into a place where I'm talking about conspiracies. That's not what this video is about at all. It's all about just sharing how I feel and for you to make your personal judgment, to make your own research. But what I'm just trying to say is follow the money trail, understand where is all this money going, and then what is the money doing. And unfortunately, where Apple's money is going is not in the right spaces. And what I'm trying to get to is vote with your dollars. That's the whole point of that little spill. Vote with your dollars. That's the best thing you can do. From studying business and understanding, by voting with your dollars, that's where you're able to actually change things. You can't change by voting for this one person. The only thing you can do is vote with your dollars. If, let's say, we all stopped paying a company that we didn't agree with, whatever company that is, let's say we just stopped buying from that company would stop. It would die off because there's no funds anymore. So, for example, I'm not a McDonald's guy. I hate fast food restaurants. I also don't eat meat. But I'm not a McDonald's guy. So let's say that is the worst thing for us. It's the worst thing for our physical health, our insides, and it's the worst thing for our mental health. So let's say all of us collectively agree that, okay, McDonald's is done. We stopped it. And we all stopped eating there. There would be no more McDonald's, right? I'm not boycotting Apple. I'm not boycotting anybody. I'm not a person to do that. I'm just saying, if you want to make a difference, vote with your dollars, okay? I don't think this product is good. It doesn't matter what I think in the end. This video is not going to do much. These things are still going to come out. In 10 years, there'll be even products that are even 10 times worse than this product. I'm well aware of that. The point of this video is for you on the other side watching this to make your own personal judgment that is this right for you or is it not right for you? That's it. That's all it is. It's just you make your own deep decision and awareness not to feel like you need to get this because you don't. Focus on you. Focus on your inward, and the outward will heal itself. Anyways, rant again. Much love. Talk to you later. Let me know in the comments what you think. Adios.